everybody, welcome back to Founding Champions. Today in the Forge, we're going to build a new deck, and as you can see, it's going to have Nagash in it. It's going to be a Death Risen deck. And let me get right into it, guys. First off, we're going to start with Nagash as our champion, for sure. So that's 15 points right off the bat, and we're going to need to try and pick some other champions. I've got some already kind of pre-laid out. These are the ones that are Risen. And then everybody else in the deck, as you can see, there are no more Risen champions, but I've seen that this could possibly be a fit. The reason that is because when this champion or a card controlled by this champion removes a highlighted unit, gain 2 health. And then we have a few cards in the deck that can remove units, and we could sort of farm health off this guy, and he starts off with giving us a +1, only for 2. So, and that could fit, so 15 plus the 2 from this guy would be 17. But for this deck, I think we're just going to not use him, and we're going to go straight on to the other Risen champions. First up, we have Barrow's White Knight. Damage from highlighted units cannot exceed 3. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of White Knights, guys. I think we would rather just play the Black Knight. That's a joke. You can laugh. But we're going to put him to the side. The reason why we're not going to play him is because I'm going to show you this card right here. This card costs 1 less, and he allows us to rotate a Risen unit 1 step forwards. And guys, the reason why that's good is that you can get on a combos. I'll show you the combo in here very shortly. I'll show you the combo. And it allows you to set up a field where you can do major amounts of damage all in one turn. Now you can only use the heroic deck once, so you can play 1 of him and then 2 of these guys. That's only 4, so we'll be at 19 points. Or you can play 2 Hell Knights and then have the option of using it on whichever lane that is more important to be used, rather than being pigeonholed into one lane and being forced to use it on 1 Hell Knight. And your opponent will learn what you're doing and trying to counter you, so having 2 of them will give you better options. So I'm going to go ahead and go with 2 of these guys, and then just 1 skeletal champion to finish out. And so we have 15 points worth of champions. Next off, we're going to go into blessings. I like this blessing because it does damage, and then it reduces the cards in their hand by 2. And that's basically an entire turn, guys. If they draw 2 cards that you then took away from them, that just wasted their entire turn. So this is a good card. Carrion Feast, solid card. Spend an action to deal 3, gain 3. So it's a 6-point swing, 4-point swing, 4-point swing. So it does a 7, which is a little better than average, and then gains 7, which makes this card really, really good. Morbid Terror, again, does 2 damage and then forces them to shuffle a card back into their deck, and then it rotates every time you play a guy. And since we're a stacking deck, we can play a bunch of dudes. So if they had 3 cards in hand, let's say, or maybe 2 cards in hand, we can just straight up, even though we have a full field, we can activate this twice, and they're going to take 4 points of damage and shuffle 2 cards back into their deck. So that's another card that I like. And then the, Death Staple. It's only a common, but it completely makes their side of the field for units dormant. If they're playing spells, it's not going to help you very much, but most people are playing a decent amount of creatures. So this card, to me, is a staple. Some other cards you can choose or, give option to or playtest with are Necromantic Bloodline, just sort of these generic cards. When you play a spell, you draw 2 cards. We're not playing too many spells in this deck, guys, even though we do have Nagash. Next up is Holy Power. This is a Risen or Spirit sort of themed card, though I don't think that the power level is where it needs to be right now. Just deploy 1 Risen or Spirit from your discard pile into Highlight Champion, and then you move it forward. So it sort of gives you a toolbox in your yard of dudes to play, but I don't really like it because, again, Nagash can just use his ability to bring 4 guys back to your hand. And it's a little different because you spend an action to get a guy, so it's 1 for 1. Rather, Nagash gets you 4 cards, but then you'd have to spend actions to play your dudes. So I think this is a little redundant. Cloak of Mist and Shadows, increased damage done from a champion's abilities. We do have a decent amount of abilities in this deck, but the other effect of swapping guys isn't really relevant at all, so we're just going to pass on that. Move 3 Risen or Spirit units from your discard pile to your hand, gain additional action. It's like Nagash's ability, but then replenishes your action, or actually just gives you an action. But this card's okay, but since we do have Nagash, I don't think we really need to use this. Maybe in a Spirit deck, this card would be better. Deathless Thralls, reduce damage received from highlight enemies by 2. I think this card is kind of bad, actually. We're not going to play that. Cursed Altar, reduce damage by 3 on each corner. Just reduce damages once, so if they were able to do damage to you 4 times in a turn, it would be reduction by 3, 3, 3, then 3, and then it doesn't do anything else. Orb of Immortality, great card, but I don't think this fits the theme of the deck right now. I think that this card will see play in other decks and in the future, but for right now, I don't see our deck needing to stay alive. I don't think we have that crucial, we got to stay alive one more turn before we completely stabilize. This deck just kind of keeps going. There isn't too much stabilization needing to happen. And then this card, we don't play more than so. Won't play it. Alright, so we got our 4 blessings. We're going to put these off to the side, guys. And then we're going to build our deck around those champions and blessings. And our Risen theme. So first off, we'll go with... Actually, I think I want to start off with spells. There's not going to be too many spells in the deck, guys. But I do want to go over some of these spells. Frightful Touch in this deck is really good. Now, I'll tell you that Nagash's ability to rotate a spell forward is great on turn 1 with this card. So you're going to deal damage to your opponent. If the highlighted champion does not control a unit, your opponent must shuffle 2 cards from their hand into their deck. So if you go first, they don't have the option. You will play this on Nagash, deal 4 damage to them. They put 2 of the 5 cards in their hand back into their deck, and that's that. And the turn after, it'll just rotate out. So really great card, and highly recommend playing this when you're playing with Nagash. And if they ever decide not to play a unit, well, then it's just going to be kind of free, you know, further down the line. Also, this card and the combo that you've created with Nagash encourages your opponent to play units in front of Nagash. And I'll show you later how that combo will work into your advantage. So your opponent is going to be pigeonholed to playing a dude in front of this, and then you're going to combo off of that. And I'll show you that in a second. So we're definitely going to play this card. So definite card, and it rotates Nagash. The rest of these cards, guys, I'm not really a fan of. You can play the Risen Dragon theme, and I will make a video about that and put it on my Patreon for you guys to view. It's a very minor theme. It's very combo heavy, and it can be extremely powerful, you know, with the right sort of set of draws. So I am going to make a video later, and this is a very integral card in that combo. So, but we're not going to play that now. This card is for vampires, not going to play it. Scrying Pool's a really strong, powerful card, though I don't think that we're going to have room or time to play it. Gravecall is a Risen card, but, you know, it says deploy up to 2 Risen all the way, you know, on the 4th corner. So I don't think we have time to play that. This card is also too long, don't have time. It's too long, don't have time. Move Risen units from your discard pile to your hand so you can get 2 guys back. But again, Nagash already does that. I mean, how many guys do we need to bring back constantly before we could just draw cards and get them sort of naturally and organically? Dark Mist, you can't remove my guys. That's pretty good, but we're just going to pass on that for now. I do see people playing with this card, though, but just not me, not right now. No Vampires, not going to play that. No Mordants, not going to play that. And no Vampires, not going to play that. So, that's the spells. Next up are the units, the creatures themselves. I'm going to go ahead and pull out all the Risen guys right now, and then we can sort of see which ones we want to play. So we're going to play the Crypt Shield Black Knight. We're going to play the Skeleton Warrior, so skeletons with shields on skeleton horses. Lots of skeletons. Legion of Skeletons. Skeletons with shields on foot. Followed by the Black Knight. So this guy. And this is another really good maybe card. A staple, almost, in my opinion. It's just so good, guys. Does 1 damage. If it removes a highlighted unit, you gain another... Whoa! You didn't see that happen, guys. Unedited, unscripted, guys. So, gain 1 additional action this turn. So that's a pretty good staple. And these are the zombie dragons and terrorgeist, the dragon deck that I was talking about. And this can form another deck, but I'll go into that later. Another sort of pick that you think you might want is a skeletal icon bearer. When a highlighted risen unit is removed or exhausted, move it to your hand and rotate this 1 step forwards. This only affects the top unit of the stack. So you play this down sort of maybe in the middle area and you start to get your guys back. I do like this card, but I don't know if there's going to be room, but we'll put it in some maybe pile. Hollowed Mortis Engine, powerful card if your opponent's playing spells. Reduces it by 3 in the same lane, and then your 2 spells are going to be increased by 3. And then if it's sort of not doing anything or you need the space, just heroic deck, 3 to your opponent, gain 3, and it's gone. So very powerful card, very good card, very underrated card as well. So we're just going to put this in the maybe pile. Maybe we'll play it, maybe not. Vampire, I don't think we have room for this. Gain 2, draw 2. In a vampire deck, this would be amazing. Spirit, not going to play it. Beast, nope. More vampires. It's more spirits, and then your Mordants. So we've already made a video on the Mordants, guys. You can go to my channel and see that video. It's a pretty sweet video. The deck turned up okay, I think. I think you could, maybe solid tier 2 or something. But you do have the option to make it, more customizable and better. You're not pigeonholed into one list. So the game designers did allow for you to make a lot of customizations to your deck, and you're not just pigeonholed into doing one thing. So these are the units that we're not going to play, guys, for sure. And then later we're just going to have to, do some deck doctoring, shave some numbers. Let's see, what else? Abilities. So we have our Staple Devour, removes a unit, shuffles a unit back into your deck. Frightful Strike, another good turn 1 combo card, 3 damage to your opponent. If the highlighted champion is of lower cost than the acting champion, there is no highlighted unit in play. Your opponent shuffles 1 card from their hand to their deck. So you can use this with Nagash, and Nagash is almost always going to be more expensive than their champion. I just almost guarantee you. Very few champions are in this game that will stop. I think he might actually be the most expensive. I think, let's see. Yeah, I think he actually might be the most expensive one, guys. I think there was one for 17, but don't quote me on that. Put in the comments below who is the most expensive champion. So put a comment below. I will really appreciate it. Let's see, 3 damage to your opponent, so that's a direct damage. We'll put that right here. We have Curse Strike, 3 damage to your opponent. You may rotate a highlighted spell or unit one step backwards or forwards. So that has the direct damage plus upside. Let's put that in the direct damage area. And then here is a combo piece. Trigger the current effects of up to 2 highlighted risen or spirit units. This unit cannot trigger heroic acts. Okay. So the reason why this is a combo piece is that it does nothing by itself, but it has 3 blocks that it will combo with to do lots of damage. So you could potentially do something like 9 damage with just this card if you can activate 3 damage in each lane. I think the average is going to be 4 damage with this card, but like a lot of other conditional direct damage effects, it's either between 2 to 5, and this one is more between does nothing to 9, and so that averages out, to 4, 4.5, or 5. So I think that this card is going to be really insane if you set the game up right. Again, you do have Hell Knight to give you the options to try and set that up. So you can activate Hell Knight's effect, rotate your guy. Your guy does his natural points of damage, and then you activate this for a whopping giant total of damage. So that's why we're using Hell Knight instead of White Knight. Again, we don't like White Knights. We like Black Knights, and especially Hell Knights. So Serve and Death, great combo card. We have some other cards that we could potentially play. We do have Commanding the Dead, deploy one Risen from your hand or discard. Guys, we have Nagash. I don't think we really need this card, so we're going to take that out. Then we have Call of the Dead, gain a health, shuffle 2 guys back into your deck. I'll pass on him for obvious reasons. We have our one splotched card, guys. This is the only card that I've ever opened out of 12 boxes that's splotched, so I thought I'd just show you that. We don't have any vampires, so I'm not going to play with this. And Nagash already rotates, so we could just turbo rotate, but our deck is not based off of turbo rotation, so we're not going to play that. So right now we're going to count up how many cards we have to see if we need to shave any. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we need to get rid of 9 cards. So I think we'll take some of the cards that sort of are just good but don't combo with the deck. And one of those is Unhallowed Mortis Engine. We'll just take him out. Good card, but maybe not for us. It's not really buffing us except for 1 card. So yeah, we'll just take him out for now. We'll put that over here. So we need 6 more cards to leave. I think another card is just maybe this card that I'm not too interested in playing right now. Again, it is good, and you can shave, you can put guys on top of him, so once he's all used up, and he's used this effect too, you can put more, or excuse me, I completely take back what I said. You know, once you've rotated him at least once, you can start stacking on top of him. So you replace your cards and start your stacking, and that's really, really good, guys. Let's see, we'll put that over here. And then the next card, that's a really hard decision on what to get rid of, but I think that we might need to stick with Morton units, and the reason why I say that is, guys, is because Nagash rotates on, excuse me, not Morton units, Risen units. Nagash rotates on Risen, can only play Risen. You can't play Frenzied Vargeist on Nagash. He's not a Risen unit. Your Hell Knight only rotates on Risen units, so the Risen unit here rotated. It can rotate these damage effects, but it won't rotate this. And you can use it with this guy, so he's only really going to rotate damage effects and this guy. So I think that maybe we can not use him, and since we already do have the Black Knight, we don't need 6 cards that remove dudes, especially if they're playing sort of a unit light deck. We may miss out on this effect a lot, guys. So we're going to take that out. We're going to just use these Risen cards. This is a great base card. Once you've done your 2 damage, it makes a great base to put your stacking units. Again, we have these 6 stacking units. And then we have another great base. So here's the other base card. So we've got 6 really good base cards to use. He's just gonna sit there and reduce damage, and again, guys, just put right on top of him. You know, you might not need any good value out of him, so just go right on top of him, giggity. And then you do have some guys that are good for 1 support. I like this guy for 1 support. So he increases his damage reduction per 1 support. So it's just going to reduce by 2 while he has 1 support, versus if you have him on the very top, you're only going to get that effect twice. So he's a really good level 2 card to play. So a level 2 stacking card. Of course, you can all place these as base cards, but ultimately you're really going to want the level 1 cards on the bottom, you're going to want the level 2 cards in the middle, and then you're going to want your level 3 cards on top. So we have Skeletal Legion. If this has support 2, it cannot be removed. Damage to your opponent. So this is definitely going to want to be a support 2 card, so it's going to be a level 3 card. I'm going to put that there. Again, there's no rare candy, so you can't just go straight to that. You're going to have to spend, a couple turns. I'm not letting you guys laugh on my punchlines, by the way. I'm just kind of monotone giving you some jokes. So, bear with me, guys. I'm going to throw a couple jokes in there, but I'll try and give you a chance to laugh. Alright, so Skeleton Warriors. So, I'm going to like this guy on top Giggity. So we're going to need him to be a level 3. So it's going to look something like this. You're going to want to play him as a base, play that guy, and then try and jam one of these guys on top of him as soon as possible. So you're just playing dudes on top of dudes. So depending on who you are, you'll really like that. So it's okay if you play, say, this guy as level 2, because his only bonus effect is that he can't be removed, but he will sit there and do the same amount of damage, guys. So he's an okay level 2, and that's fine as a level 3. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's our 30 cards, and I'll be right back in a second, and we'll shuffle it up and do a goldfish. Okay, wake up! Are you awake? Alright, we're going to go and start the goldfish. So first off, we are going to play one of these champions. So we're going to pretend that we're going first, and honestly, it really doesn't matter where these guys go. They're all pretty green, so they don't want to help out their buddies. So we're just going to play him here, we're going to play him here and here. Maybe, you know, as we goldfish, we'll realize maybe we want it somewhere else. But at the time being, we're just going to place them down like that. Shuffled up, we're going first, so we're going to draw 4 cards, see what we get. Okay, this is pretty good. We did get the turn 1 combo with Nagash with Frightful Strike. So we're going to go ahead and probably play that. They have no units, we're not going to play this. Shield Bearers, really good level 2 guys, so maybe we'll wait on that. And then this one is 3 damage to your opponent. If the highlighted champion is a lower cost than the champion and there's no highlighted unit in play, your opponent shuffles 1 card from their hand into their deck. So we had 2 good turn 1 combo cards. However, we're just going to go and jam this card right now. It's just going to give us the best value, I think. So we're going to play that here in front of Nagash. Use Nagash's heroic ability to rotate it. So they're going to deal 4 to them, and they're going to discard, shuffle 2 cards from their hand to their deck. Well, that stays here until it goes away at my next turn. And that's my 2 actions. They have 3 cards in hand, so I've got 3 cards, they got 3 cards, but they're 4 life points lower. So going first, awesome. And then now I have the initiative. It's going to come back to me. This is going to go away. You know, if they've played a creature, I can play this guy, and then he's going to rotate all of these. So even this, when he does the damage, he'll rotate. So if we have an opportunity to play this, if they have a 1 cost in front of our Hell Knight, we can play this. And other cards. Now, he's probably played, honestly, a guy in front of Nagash, so I don't do that again. So now I'm going to show you the combo that works with that. Now, this is a Risen unit. Nagash, even though he's a wizard, can cast Risen units. So I'm going to be able to play that here and rotate Nagash. So he's going, oh, shoot, I'm going to lose my guy now because I had to try and stop Nagash. So that's action number 1. Action number 2, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and draw a card. So, Serve and Death. Great. This is a good combo card for later. It's going to do some sweet things. So, now it comes back to me. 2 damage, removes their guy, and yeah, they're hurting. So, for me, I've killed their guy. They're still trying to stabilize, draw cards right now. I'm just going to go ahead and draw 2 cards. So, I'm going to start building up some card advantage. Start figuring out what I want to do. Right now, it's going to come back to me. This is going to go away. I have no spells to rotate Nagash, but I do have these cards. I can reduce some damage coming in at me, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to wait to stack on top of him until I've done 2 damage. That way I can rotate these guys right here. So I'm going to play him here, and then I'm going to put him on top later. Again, if they have no guy in front of Nagash, I am going to play this card. So that way I can shuffle a card from their hand back into their deck. And right now I think he's going to be trying very hard to place dudes in front of Nagash. So we're just going to go ahead and draw another card. Another Serve and Death. That's probably not what we wanted to draw right now, but whatever. So we're reducing damage again on their field. So with that damage reduction, and since they're missing a lot of cards from their hand, they are slowed down. So we do have the time to go ahead and draw lots of cards, guys. Next up, we're going to, let's see, we've got 2 actions. I think we're going to still wait for that guy to rotate completely. So we're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards again. Alright, so we got some more damage spells. And we got plenty of cards in our hand. This is going to rotate. It's going to deal 2 damage, rotating him. We're going to go ahead and play the skeletons on top of this guy. So it's going to rotate him again. And that's going to do, it's going to reduce damage by 2. Again, if we do have the opportunity to play this, we would. And then we're going to go ahead and, I think we're just going to go ahead and draw a card, guys. Alright, another Devour. So it's going to rotate this guy. It's still reducing damage by 2. We're going to want to try and play some cards to rotate our champions right now. So let's see, we got Devour. So we oh wow, we've drawn 3 Devours. So it's a very strange hand. I can tell it's a little creature light, so maybe we want to put more creatures in our deck next time. But we did draw 3 Devours and 2 Servant Death, so not exactly what we wanted to do. So we're going to go ahead and just draw 2 cards to try and get more creatures. Alright, so we got another Frightful Touch and a Skeletal Legion. This guy is going to rotate out, so we have 3 Risen cards in the yard to use with Nagash later. We're going to go ahead and rotate Nagash by using this. And then, let's see, we are going to use an ability. We're going to play one of these abilities, guys. I'm sure he's got creatures somewhere, so we're going to, use one of these. If we use it here, it's going to rotate him, and that's going to be 1 turn away from flipping him over. And if he had no guys, we would just use Frightful Strike to deal a lot of damage. So deal 4 damage. Maybe it did some cool things, maybe it didn't. On our turn, we're going to go ahead and play this guy here. So next turn he's going to complete that quest, and we're just going to draw a card, guys. Draw a card. Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. And this is going to rotate out. Like that. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and play a... Oh, this is 2 damage, by the way, so that rotates him completely. And we are going to do 4 damage to them and have them shuffle 2 cards back in their hand. Back from their hand back to their deck, so that's pretty good. We're going to play this, so we're going to reduce damage by rotate and then rotate Nagash. And then we're going to draw a card. Ooh, so reduce more damage. So we're reducing damage again, doing 2 damage to him. Then we're just going to, probably, Frightful Strike him. Maybe Devour a card. Who knows? Let's see. And then it's going to be back to us. So we're going to do 2 damage to them, 1 damage to them. We're not reducing any more damage this time, guys. We're going to go ahead and I think we're going to use, so this is going to rotate out and this is going to rotate out. We're going to use Nagash's ability, actually. It's once per game, and we're going to get 3 guys back because we only have 3 right now. Leave a comment in the description if I need to have 4 to use that ability. If I need to have 4, I would just save it. But so that's 1 action, and for action number 2, we're just going to go ahead and play this on top of this guy. Oh, that's not a sorry, it's not stacking. I meant to do this one. So we're going to play him there. We're going to reduce by 2. It's going to come back to us. This guy's gone. Now, so we haven't drawn cards in a while because Nagash is just going to sit there and fill our hands back up. I'm going to play another one of these guys. Just reducing damage, guys. This is also rotated over here, and then I'm just going to continue reducing damage. So I'm reducing damage by 3, so no damage is coming in, and then I'm just going to whittle away at their life points later. So I'm just going to go ahead and wait. This is going to do 2 damage later. Let's see. We're going to go back to our turn. So back to our turn, reduce damage again, reduce damage. I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 cards, guys. And sweet, more cards like that. So we're doing a lot of reduction. We're killing a lot of stuff. We do have damage in our hands. We do have, this card right here. So when this guy rotates out, and this guy rotates here, we can use this to do damage. If we had like a card like this and like this, so if that's what we wanted to do instead, we can go ahead and do that. And then once these rotate for, 4 damage, rotating this guy, we can play Serve and Death. And then what that will do is do 4 damage here. And that's pretty sweet, guys. So I don't know what their life points is. We did a lot of damage reductions right now. We did a lot of controlling. We did a lot of getting guys back. So we didn't, mid-game to late game, we didn't have to draw many cards. If we did win on Nagash, we could have gotten that 4th guy, and that would have been pretty sweet. That would have been one less time we needed to draw cards. But looks like a lot of our guys are sort of in the middle of the deck. This deck might need some more dudes, and if you feel the same way, then go ahead and put some more guys in. And I think that's about it. So thanks for watching.